Let's recap the beginning of creation. Free will of awareness finds focus. This focus is known to us as logos or love. The logos creates light. The light condenses into matter, creating the physical universes. In the first density, a planet is in a red ray vibratory field. Thus, the red ray is the foundation for all that is to come. In a planetary environment, all begins in timeless chaos. Energy is undirected and random in its infinity. Slowly, there forms a focus of self-awareness. Thus the logos moves. The intelligent energy comes to form the darkness, according to the co-creator's patterns and vibratory rhythms, so constructing a certain type of experience. This begins with the first density, which is the density of consciousness. Upon the planet, the mineral and water life learns the awareness of beingness from fire and wind. This is the first density. Upon our planetary sphere, the first entities were earth, water, fire, and air. So the active principles of wind and fire blow and burn incandescently, illuminating and forming the formless, for earth and water were unformed, in the timeless state. The water learns to become lakes and rivers, the earth learns to be shaped into lands and islands, thus offering the opportunity for viable life. The spiraling energy, which is the characteristic of upward spiraling light, moves in a straight-line spiral, thus giving spirals an inevitable vector upwards to a more comprehensive beingness with regards to intelligent infinity. This universal light energy is omnipresent in the metaphysical dimension that permeates all physical dimensions. Thus, first density beingness strives towards the second density lessons of a type of awareness which includes growth rather than dissolution or random change. The first or red ray density, though attracted towards growth, is not in the proper vibratory field for those conditions conducive to what we may call the spark of awareness. As a galaxy revolves, the space-time continua of planetary systems spiral from one vibratory field of a density to the next. The different vibrational configurations of space-time are created in the metaphysical dimension by a spectrum of 7 distinct colors, from red through violet, of the universal light energy. You may see a 3-dimensional clock face or spiral of endlessness, which is planned by the logos for this purpose. As the vibratory energies move from red to orange, the vibratory environment is such as to stimulate those chemical substances which lately had been inert to combine in such a fashion that love and light begin the function of growth. The mechanism is one of the attractions of upward spiraling light. There is nothing random about this or any portion of evolution. Thus, the lower forms of plants and animals began to have a beingness within the orange ray energy center. The orange ray concerns the expression of the self in relationship to the self and other self. However, the consciousness of the second density beginning is primitive, and the use of orange rays is limited to the expression of self, which may be seen to be movement and survival. The lower second density mind-body complexes, which begin to move about within and upon its being. This movement is the characteristic of second density, the striving towards light and growth. The base of any metabolism is that which may be found in the chemical substances of the neighborhood of origin. Our scientists have puzzled over the various differences and possible interrelationships of various stages, types, and conditions of life forms. This is not fruitful material, as it is that which is of a moment's choice. There are several different types of bases for life forms, not only upon Earth, but to a much greater extent in the life forms found on planetary spheres of other stars. The chemical vehicle is that which most conveniently houses the consciousness. The functioning of consciousness is the item of interest rather than the chemical makeup of a physical vehicle. A second density mind operates largely upon intuition, which proves through practice to yield results. It makes the choices that improve chances of survival. So the mind of second density files away all information concerning survival and keeps it at the ready in order to enhance each opportunity to respond in a timely manner to that which affects survival. Life forms evolve greater complexity and variety because of the workings of free will applied to evolution. There are many paths that the mind-body complex follows in an attempt to survive, to reproduce, and to seek in its fashion that which is unconsciously felt as the potential for growth. Thus, there are many arenas or paths of development. The yellow ray center concerns the entity in relation to groups. Therefore, upon our planetary sphere, those having the first yellow ray experiences are those of animal and vegetable natures, which find the necessity for reproduction by the bisexual techniques, or who find it necessary to depend in some way upon other selves for survival and growth. The second density strives towards the third density, which is the density of self-consciousness or self-awareness. The striving takes place through the higher second density forms, who are attracted by the upward spiraling light. The self-awareness comes from within, given the catalyst of certain experiences, understanding the upward spiraling of the cell or atom or consciousness. You may see then that there is an inevitable pull toward the eventual, what we may call realization of self. Those second density mind-body complexes became self-aware mind-body-spirit complexes, awakening the spirit complex, that which existed potentially from the beginning of space-time, perfects itself by graduation into the third density, the first density of consciousness of spirit. Upon the cessation of physical complex, the mind-body complex does not return unto the undifferentiated consciousness of that species. The second density represents our longest density in terms of the span of space-time. We may estimate that time as approximately 4.6 billion years. Let's define the term density as we have been using it. The term density is what we call a mathematical one. The closest analogy is that of music, whereby after 7 notes on our Western type of scale, the 8th note begins a new octave. Within our great octave of existence, there are 7 densities. The 8th density moves into a mystery we do not plumb. In its latter stages, 8th density functions also as the beginning density or first density of the next octave of densities. You may witness the gradually increasing and expanding awareness through the progression of the densities on our planet. The first density elemental lives of earth and water, the second density plants and animals, and our own self-conscious entities of the third density. Within each density, there are 7 subdensities. Within each subdensity are 7 sub-subdensities. Within each sub-subdensity, 7 sub-sub-subdensities, and so on infinitely. There is the infinity of opportunity. You may consider any possibility, probability complex as having an existence.